Want to do a big shout out to our friends and supporters at Liberty Bullion. Sammy and the team are the best gold, silver and platinum traders in Australia. Make good choices, give them a call. Back to the show. G'day guys, this is Jay, all the way from Australia, and this is the chat with Jay. Remove your mask, write the story. Kangaroos, koalas, Steve Irwin impersonations, as we all know. But I meet so many great people doing this podcast, and I'm so grateful for the opportunity to do this. And I'm flying to the Big Apple. I'm flying over the way to New York, America, USA. And I've got Andrew here. And I tell you what, this story is so inspiring. Cult survivor, cancer survivor, and just like everyone, this is why I do Remove Your Mask, Write Your Story. He's here to inspire others through his words and through his experiences. We always forget in the days of people going, I got to go to school, I got to go and get an education. Hey, that's fine. But you can't neglect, and you can't really neglect people like Andrew who's come on. You know, myself with my stroke scare. I don't care what it is. People are trying to educate. And Andrew, man, we had a quick pre-chat, man. I love your energy, mate. And this is why I do what we do. Thank you so much for coming on, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you, audience, for being here. I'm really excited to jump in. I hope we give you guys a great show. Lots of good energy and sharing my experiences with you. I hope you all enjoy it. So, yeah. Happy to be here. Thank you.
Mate, I tell you what, I love the Australian versus American podcast because I know all you guys are just entertainers. I love it, man. It's so good. But hey, get into it. Let's get into it. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and then I've got a couple of notes that I've written in, and it's about awakening process. You've got the cancer scare that you had. Sure. Obviously, you went through cancer. Sorry. And then the one I'm really interested in is the cult. That is huge. I know I talk to people when I've been opening up, looking at what's happening in the world, and my God, let's, mate, over to you. As I do in pro wrestling, tag, you're in.
I appreciate it. Hello, everybody. Yeah, so, my story is definitely exceptional, but at the same time, I always like to mention that it's also not so different from what everybody goes through when we have those points where we feel like we're losing ourselves, or we feel like we're not living up to our full potential, or we find ourselves in a situation that doesn't feel right to us, and we feel like we're getting lost, we feel stuck, we feel pulled apart from who we truly are. And I've experienced that to an extreme. As Jay has mentioned, in some situations, and I have fought to overcome, to do whatever it takes to find my path back to myself, my authenticity. That's a word you'll hear a lot from me. It's really important. Finding my strength, finding the truth, living my truth, speaking it, inspiring others, showing that no matter what challenge is put in front of us, we all have the power to overcome. I am no different than anybody here listening, despite the fact that I've gone through some experiences which are admittedly quite unique.
Mate. I'll tell you. I mean, we can laugh about it now, and I wasn't laughing when I read it. And then thank you. You said about energy. I think the energy between us now is, mate, it's at fever pitch. It's like WrestleMania 6 with Ultimate Warrior versus Hulk Hogan, mate. I mean, I always go back to retro, mate. Tell us a little bit about the let's go with the cancer. I mean, everyone does, because that's a big thing with people who go through a medical condition or an experience. And I know, God bless him, my friend Solomon King in Houston, he's actually going through something at the moment. I love you, brother, so thank you. And I'd like to hear from yourself, my friend. I look at mindset. Tell us a little about it, and tell us you beat it with a great mindset. And I can already tell, man, your energy's like so good, man. I love it.
I appreciate that. It took some work to get to where I am today, for sure. I started out in that mindset, And when I was first diagnosed, I thought what happened was I was in terrible pain in my legs. I had a terrible car accident when I was 18, fatal. My friend who was driving passed away, unfortunately. My pelvis was exploded into 9 or 10 pieces, and I had to learn to walk again. So that was when I was 18. Now I'm 39. I'm having pain in my legs, maybe a bad leg day at the gym. Over the course of a couple weeks, I found that the pain was getting worse. Usually, this kind of pain would go away, but this time it was getting worse until one night I couldn't stand. I drove myself to the ER. They took some scans, came out and said, Andrew, I'm sorry, but we have really, really bad news for you. You have a late and aggressive cancer, and it's in stage 4, and
Oh,
blew me
wow.
away. Blew me away. It was the last thing I was expecting. I thought I was just, gonna find it. Maybe I had a muscle pressing on, some of a tendon or something pressing against my spine. I thought that would be the worst of it. I never saw cancer coming, and I immediately just went into fight mode. I said, okay, tell me where I gotta go, what I gotta do. I'll show up, I'll be there, I'll do it. And that was it. That was all I thought about. And I went back to Manhattan to Memorial Sloan Kettering, world class care. They gave me great care, did 4 rounds of chemo. They said it went great. I got a call a couple months later, said, Andrew, I'm sorry, but it looks like the cancer has come back. So I apologize. We're going to need to do more chemo. That's when it hit me. That's when my mind frame really fell from this fight, I can do anything, I can overcome it, to looking at, wow, I'm 40 years old and I might lose my life. I might not win this fight. Um, and that was tough. That took some time. There were a couple weeks there where all I wanted to do was sleep because I didn't want to wake up and think about it and face my own mortality at 40 years old. Never saw that coming. I did the chemo, 90 days in the hospital. It felt like being in a prison, to tell you the truth. It was very hard, but what could I do? I just showed up. I went through several surgeries, very intense surgeries to remove some of these. And at the end of the day, the high dose chemo worked. The worst I came out with was I lost a little bit of hearing. I have buzzing in my ear 24/7. Doesn't go away, the ringing, like tinnitus. But I stand here in front of you now, 18 months completely cancer free after a stage 4 diagnosis. And that came from my belief in myself, my trust in God. I don't know if people are religious, but I'm
Doesn't
not a
matter.
religious guy, but I do believe in God. I do believe in the power of belief, of intention, and I fought it with everything I had. I eat healthy food, and I stand here completely healed, healthy, cancer-free in this moment, and I have a lot to be thankful for.
Mate, that is, mate, inspiring, absolutely inspiring story. And it just really tells you, I mean, we go through things where, the little things in life, someone, you hit your toe and you scream or whatever, or something happens, but it's stories like yourself that really get you thinking. And you've got to get into that mindset of what you said, you've got to go into that mindset of you might not be here tomorrow, but then at the end of the day, you've got to have a mindset of belief. And it doesn't matter whether you believe in God or not. It doesn't matter. Believe in, the universal law, or you're connected as a universal being to the earth, whatever it may be, man. You can just tell you're radiating that, man. And I want to ask you before we move on to the next
Thank you.
part. I just want to ask you with regards to what you did during that time when you knew you were in that battle for your life. What were some of the
Hmm.
things that you did to keep your head in that strong belief? Because man, it would, I mean, let's be honest, people see in hospital, you sit there just sitting there ready to move on, if you get where I'm going, where you put the battle armor on and just gone, rightio, what am I going to do to keep it's all about you versus your mind, isn't it, really?
It is that is the fight. At the end of the day, it comes down to you versus your thoughts, and you really get a good idea of that's where the struggle and the battle truly lies, is your belief in yourself, in what's possible. I had told my family, do all the research you guys want. You can look up stage 4 cancer that I have. You can check out the odds. You can look at the statistics, but leave me out of it. I want to know none of it because I'm telling you, I'm going to beat this. I don't care what the odds are. I don't want to know the percentages. I don't want to know the statistics of how other people were, how it worked out for them. I know I'm going to beat this. I never gave up that idea and I followed through with it. But there were moments where it was very tough. I'm a big meditation guy. I meditate every day. I spend, mornings meditating. I meditate at one good time during the day and then again before bed every night. And that was really what helped me to be able to control my thoughts, to be able to stop that spinning, that endless, cycle of, oh my God, I am 40 years old. I am gonna die. That was tough to deal with. It took some time, but the meditation was the most important for me. And I also had to come to terms with it. And, I had to say to myself, look, I believe I know for a fact through some experiences I've had that this life, well, we all love this life or have, it might be tough for some people, but we want to live it. People don't want it to end. That this isn't the end for us as beings of light and love. We go on. There is more for us past this corporeal existence. And I knew that before, and I had to come to terms with acknowledging that if this was my time, that, it was going to be okay. Every other person, all the billions of people who have ever lived before have died. And you know what? They did okay. I mean, who knows? I haven't talked to them since they passed, but if they could face it, so can I. If it's a natural part of life, and I believe that we go on. I came to terms with that, and those things all together are really what made it possible for me to move on, to focus on health, and to overcome it mentally.
Absolutely, mate. It's an inspiring story, my friend. And I think, look, we all
Thank you.
fear we all fear it in some ways. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, you sit there
Sure,
and then depending where you are within your mental psyche in some ways, depending when you're going through the spiritual awakening where you actually go into your inner child and go, these are the things that you need to learn. And you go into your deep fears, you don't know whether you're going to get out and stuff. And he just really opens you up to what you are. Um, Meditation, just quickly before we move on, there's different ways of meditating. I know
sure.
sometimes, I'll be honest with you, I meditate in the morning when I get up, because I know I can just sit there instead of grabbing for phones and all that, which I used to do like 12 months ago. Just sit there and breathe. And that's one way I do it. But also, a couple of people have found that I listen to Stoic videos from Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus and all those great philosophical leaders back in the day that tell you how to actually be as a person. And I think that really changes the mind and changes the vibration. What were you doing at the time?
So yeah, I have a routine in the mornings. I spend about 10 minutes. The first thing I do when I wake up is I spend about 5 to 10 minutes in what I call Thanksgiving. Uh, Half prayer, half meditation. I thank God. I thank my brothers and sisters of light and love. I thank myself, my higher self. I thank the universe for this day, for a good night's sleep. I thank him for my health. I just spend time expressing gratitude for who I am, the faculties that I have, the abundance that I get to enjoy, whether it be food in the fridge, gas in my tank, enough money in the bank to pay for my rent this month, to have all the necessities that I need. I'm not a rich man, but I do feel abundant. And I spend 10 minutes every morning really in a state of gratitude, and I start my day there. I go about my day, I go to work, and at about 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock every day, it'll be after this today, and then I do a deeper meditation. I'll do about a 45 minute meditation, just clearing my mind. Sometimes I will use my thoughts and visualization to, visualize amazing things for happening for myself, or, amazing things happening for everybody in the planet itself as far as a global awakening. I really do push a lot of my energy in that direction and intend and hold the intention for the best for all people. The highest intention that I hold for my life is to be in service and to help others. That's a number one for me. And then again, before I go to bed, I spend another 10 minutes in gratitude, giving thanks and prayer for a great day and asking for blessings and protection for myself while I go to sleep. And that is
Oh,
my meditation routine.
oh, mate, that's awesome. Everyone's got their own meditation routine. I think it comes through when you are actually having. I believe I do what we call the Robin Hood effect, and it's 5 pillars. And one of my pillars is awareness, and having awareness in that, my friend, is huge because we've always got gratitude when you walk up. I'm always grateful for breathing when I get up in the morning. I'll be honest with you. And you
Sure.
just go, and then you fight. Then you just not fight through. Just sort of you're getting through to where you want to get to and understand. As you said, being in service of others. Yeah, I mean, Dr. Wayne Dyer. I think have you seen much of his
Of
stuff?
course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
have you seen the show The Shift at all?
I haven't seen that. I'm very familiar with Wayne Dyer, but I haven't seen that.
Go and watch it, mate. I'll tell you what, you will resonate with it. Huge. You want to write that down, Wayne Dyer. I'll put that on the video as well when I do the edit. And I just wanted to make comment that you're very
Thank you.
similar to, obviously everyone knows I'm in the glam rock and love me metal and, glam rock and, pop and all that stuff.
Sure.
Being in a Pat Benatar Australian tribute, Ricky Rocket from Poison, he did the same thing as you did and beat stage 4 cancer, man. So, I mean,
Wow.
he did it, he's playing, and he's again, and you can hear the way he talks exactly like the way you do. So, mate,
Hmm.
it's very, very, very grateful. Let's move on to what you are doing now, because we might do the second part on the stuff about the cult. We'll talk about that in the second part. I think is there's a bit we don't want to miss anything, but let's talk about now. Let's talk about right now. So you're talking about finding yourself, being the person that you are, and wanting to inspire
Hmm.
people. Now we talked
Yeah.
off air about your possibly your first podcast. Hint, hint. This could be the first one. This could be your first one on your YouTube. It's very funny, actually. Everyone comes on my channel and they go, I hint to do a podcast. And I go, mate, you can quite happily use these 2 videos, no problem. Chuck them on and go for it. I mean, it's all good. So, what have
I
you?
love it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what are you doing right now in your life to, I guess, tell your story and just resonate that love for humanity and the earth and yourself? I'd like to take this time to shout out our supporters at Liberty Bullion, the best gold, silver, and platinum traders in Melbourne, even Australia. If you want to give them a call, their knowledge, their customer service is second to none. Back to the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. So I've just finished my book, The War on Love, which
Okay, let's.
is
What's that? Sorry, what was that? War of Love, was it?
it's called The War on Love. The origin story of the Love Has One cult and the rise of Mother God.
Okay.
And it is essentially a chronological record of my experience with the cult. And I finished that, writing it about 3, 4 weeks ago, and have since been going through the motions of launching it, which I have launched now. The website is live and it's on Amazon.
What's
Sales are
the
rolling in.
what's the website you've got there, my friend? We'll put that on for you.
thewaronlove.com.
We're
And
on.
even the Amazon link is there on my website, and I have the ebook version. You can get the paperback version, and that's what I'm doing. I've written the book, and now I'm doing interviews like with yourself and bringing the message, not just only focusing on my experience with the cult, but the book itself is more about not just the cult, but about spiritual deception, about finding yourself. And you don't have to join a cult to find yourself in a place. I might have mentioned this earlier, where you feel pulled from your true self, or stuck in a place, whether it be a job or a relationship, where things don't feel right and you're not living up or being to what you can be and being the best version of yourself. And my book is really about what it takes to work through your challenges and bring the best of yourself out and find your power and speak that truth regardless of what challenges in the environment may surround you. And that's really the underlying current of the book, is to spread that inspiration and that energy and to hopefully inspire others. And that's why I'm here. I'm talking, I'm doing interviews and everything I can to spread this energy, make connections, and just see what goodness comes from it.
Absolutely. Well, I've just jumped on Amazon right now and I've seen it. I've seen it looks like the picture on the front looks like Nicole Kidman, one of the Australian actors. It looks really cool, man. So I'll be getting that. I'll be purchasing that for you.
That's an image. That's an image of Amy Carlson, who considered herself to be Mother God, and it's a
Okay.
half a picture of her who I consider to be Amy, and then the other half is Mother God, and she had always been split between these two personalities. So the image, the portrait, is showing that split that she had, and I always appealed to her to kind of snap out of this I am God thing and be Amy, but she always wanted to be Mother God. So that's what the portrait is really portraying. And that book is actually rated. We hit #1 new release in our genre just a couple days ago. So it's
Oh,
going
awesome. Oh, well done. But a
fantastic.
bestseller. That's cool. I mean, that's absolutely cool, man. As I said, I've done the same with my book. I'm looking forward to getting yours and have a bit of a read of it. Um,
Awesome. Awesome.
so we'll be
I
getting.
would
I will.
love All right, even if you get it, I would love to send you a signed copy. We'll talk about that after. You can give me
Hey,
your digits, and I will
let,
send
let,
you a signed copy.
let's do a trade. I'll give you a signed copy of my book. How's that? Tag. Let's do,
Yes, perfect.
mate.
That's
Let's do it. That's
perfect.
gonna
Yes,
be awesome.
absolutely. I love
Absolutely
it.
good.
Yes.
Yeah, but look, what an experience to actually talk to a fellow writer. I was actually going to do that in the second part because obviously we know what the book's about. But talking about expressing, and it's really funny. Did you have any reservations after you did the book? It's really an expose of yourself, not just
Hmm.
talking about your experiences, but you're really getting to the heart of what you've done. And I think why I say that is I look at the journey of a Whitefeather, remove your mask, write your story. And it's a culmination of my life actually just going, right, I've been wearing masks, take it off. Have you
Hmm.
really sort of looked at your life and done some sort of, I guess, sat down and reminisced a little bit, or has it sort of brought up other things like other messages? Because I know with myself, it's brought up stuff that I needed to deal with as well. Like, so you got,
Yes.
boundary issues, all those. Have you had those experiences as well?
100%. I didn't realize how much healing I still had left and needed until I began writing the book, and reliving that experience was
Oh,
so
mate.
cathartic for me. Absolutely.
Yeah. And what was the biggest take from for you? Because I know personally myself, it was really looking into that self-respect and fear of not being good enough. There was a lot of that stuff that went into mine because of insecurities, not being taught emotional, physical boundaries. Yeah, not just having the
Mm,
self-confidence and self-esteem that you're supposed to have, and you bring in
mm.
those um, that issue into adulthood because you're supposed to have all that sorted by 18 or whatever it is, if you know what I mean. But
Sure, sure.
what did you find?
For me, it was more about, and one of my favorite words was authenticity. And when it comes to cult survivors in particular, you don't find many who are willing to speak out because of whether it be embarrassment or just being uncomfortable with the situation that they found themselves in, and they look back on it like it's a bad thing. And me, I had really struggled to get past that worrying about my image and instead focusing on the value of what I went through and my experience in being able to show myself in complete vulnerability and truth to hopefully make that connection with others so that others would feel, it's safe for them to stand in their vulnerability, in their authenticity, and to tell you the truth, that's where real freedom lies, is in your complete vulnerability. Because it leaves nothing else for anybody to take from me. Sometimes I'll post on Reddit and the haters come along, but because I stand completely naked in front of the world and say, here's my truth, there's nothing left for anybody to take from me because I am who I am and I'm proud of it. And that has been my number one lesson that I've learned from speaking my truth and putting it out there.
It's a lot of people doing that, and I think that we all go through that situations. I mean, and I think the big thing. Did you find, as I said, we're going to go into we'll do the book one, part two. Book comes, we'll talk about the book. I think we need a full
Sure.
part on that. It'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I want to know your mindset because I'm very interested because I think because when people do speak their truth, they get isolated, and they isolate, and whether it's isolating yourself because you're scared. Because me being coming from a pro wrestling background and music, I was really not hiding behind a mask. That's why Remove Your Mask, Write the Story is the perfect title for my book. And probably your The War on Love for You. Did you really truly love? Do you consider yourself? Do you truly loved yourself before this all happened?
You know, when you say before the cult happened or before I wrote the book?
Well, I'll put it to you this way: did you have that feeling at all between those two major experiences in your life? Did you actually go within, like you said, you're vulnerable, and you've gone, oh, okay, now I've got to go and actually look at really the deep fears or deep understandings that I needed to have to become this version of yourself that you are right now.
Yeah, yeah. So being vulnerable has something that had come naturally to me. Just a quick backstory. I grew up with a
Yep.
gay parent who came out when I was 12 or 13. This is in the
Yep.
mid to late 90s when it wasn't cool, it wasn't okay, it wasn't protected. Teachers didn't care. Nobody stood up for me. I was picked on every day, left and right, introduced as the kid with the gay dad. So I kind of got a little bit of as they say, a baptism by fire in that regard. And because I had gone through with that, I had learned to stand in my own power and my vulnerability and be myself. I had already learned that. But when it came to, loving myself, I did not. When I joined the cult, I was not somebody who truly loved themselves. It was what I went through in the cult and things that we can get into in part two that had really taught me to love myself. And that was still a work in progress. And as I said, writing this book brought a lot of that out. And that's when I really, put a fine point on a lot of these lessons that I thought I had learned. But because I had, quote, let it go, like this was, I was supposedly taught to do as a spiritual way of kind of moving through things, I realized that letting it go doesn't always mean that you've processed everything that you needed to process. And it wasn't until I took the pen to paper that I realized I had a lot left to process. And that was, like I said, the cathartic moments that really brought what was left behind, it really brought the rest of that self-love out in me so that I could stand here today and speak my truth unapologetically and proud of who I've become.
Absolutely fantastic. Well, as I said to you, this is where it's really funny. As I said, a lot of people come onto my podcast, and then when I suggested you should do a podcast, I'm listening to you going, mate, you should be doing some sort of whether podcast, whether it be 20-minute things. I'm just suggesting, man, because I think you've got a lot to talk about. And I speak
Thank
about
you.
that because I know myself, I have to do a bit more with regards to my story. And I'm being inspired by yourself to have this. And I'm always of divine timing. that this is exactly what I needed to hear today myself. We've got about 2 or 3 minutes left on this part now. In part 2, it's going to be pretty big. We're going to talk about the Colt, and if you don't mind, it's going to be no holds barred to a point where you feel comfortable, of course. But let's mate, the War on Love. Grab it on Amazon, man. As I said, I've gone look. I love looking at these stuff up straight away. It's great having authors like yourself and stories that will inspire people just to become better as best you can. I mean, we live in a really crazy society at the moment. I mean, I'm not sure how it is over in America, but we live in a crazy society of either fear of losing or fear of not becoming the celebrity that you are. I think, and then we lose a lot of, and the word authenticity is huge. I think authenticity is huge. And also we look at emotion, which you've got with what you're doing. And, it's just one of those things. Emotion is something that people need to have. And, authenticity is huge. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. So what we'll do, I'll keep going. Sorry, my friend.
Oh, I was just going to say again, for me, authenticity is, that's the foundation of everything. If you don't have authenticity, nothing else is really going to stick. It starts there. It really does. Everything starts with authenticity.
It does. And I think the solution of everything comes down to finding that solution, but you've got to be authentic to give that solution. And, you've got that one there, and then, you've got the solution there, then you've got your authenticity, and then with the emotion of the authenticity, because everyone knows it's a truth.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Fantastic. So I'm going to give you a 5-minute break, and let's go. This is going to be a good one for number 2. Now, remember, where can they find you? Let's do the big plug. It's Pro Wrestling 101, as I love.
Yes,
and
yes.
America, and I'll tell you what, you Americans do it better than us. I'll tell you.
I don't know if I could do it better than you, but I'm happy to say, in our category, Amazon has us ranked as the #1 new release for the infamous cult, The Love Has One Cult. You're finally getting the inside origin story that has never been told. It was on Dateline, NBC, Vice, and HBO, but they barely scratched the surface, and I have written the entire story out, the crazy inside story of what it's taken, the deception, the manipulation, all of the incredible experiences are there for you. The book is called The War on Love. You can find it at thewaronlove.com. Go there. You'll see the ebook. The paperback is available. The Amazon link is there. If you love it, leave a review. It's much appreciated. And I thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Part 2 is coming up, ladies and gentlemen. We look forward. Andrew, it's been a pleasure, man, and we can't wait for part 2, my friend.
Thank you. Same here. Likewise.
Have you got a story to share? The experiences that you went through those dark times need to be told, need to be heard. The teachings, the lessons. I know when I had a stroke scare that it changed my life. My name's Jay from Journey of a Whitefeather, and I run a show on Spotify and all good platforms called A Chat with Jay. I talk to normal everyday people who have had experiences that need to share their teachings with the world. I speak to celebrities who are there, who can give you advice how to become a better person. Bruce Buffer, the Kings of Disco, Lucky Lawless from Wasp. So many people, but I love talking to the normal everyday person that gets up every morning to be their best self. If you want to be a guest, whitewarriorhealth@gmail.com. Check out our socials, #JayStephenson, #Journey of a Whitefeather. Take care and always be the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be.